Over the last few weeks on the show, we've been talking a lot about micronutrients. And the reason why is because so many people don't even test for micronutrients. They don't look at micronutrients on their farms. We think it is incredibly important. And don't get us wrong, I mean, we're not saying N, P, and K aren't important, but you also want to take a look at micronutrients. And today we're going to focus on iron.
Well, iron is one that in many soil samples you may say, well, hey, I've got plenty of iron, I'm okay. If you are, that's a good situation to be in, because if you're short in iron, it isn't the cheapest micronutrient. So when you do have to put more iron out there, it's going to cost you some money. But here's the thing, we want to see if that's actually getting into your plant as well. So when we look at iron, we like to do a good soil analysis, as Brian was pointing out. We also like to take a plant tissue test.
So what we're looking at for a soil test, we're looking for roughly 20 to 40 parts per million for a good corn, soybean, or wheat soil sample. Now, it can vary depending on your crop that you're raising, so talk to your agronomist about your own recommendations. In terms of the tissue analysis, then that's going to vary based on the crop and based on the crop stage. So just take a look at whatever the lab says you've got in there, and if they say you're in the good range, too high, too low, whatever, just kind of match that up a little bit, doing some plant tissue analysis in addition to the soil test.
All right, I'm already thinking about this. There's soybean farmers in the upper Midwest saying, oh man, I've got iron deficiency chlorosis out in my fields. I must be short in iron in those areas. And you know what? You might not be short in iron at all. Now, I know this kind of goes contrary to what you're thinking. Wait a second, I have iron deficiency in my plant. How can I not be short in iron? Well, here's what we see. Sometimes we'll pull plant tissue analysis right in those areas and see the iron levels being okay. Well, what's going on is iron can take on a different form when you get into high pH soils. So when you've got a pH above 7, many times that iron will be in one of two forms. It'll be in the ferric form or the ferrous form. And when you get into that high pH, it's in the wrong form and the plant just can't utilize it. So to solve those issues over time, we need to improve drainage in the soils most commonly. That takes care of a lot of the issue, because once that pH gets down low, iron becomes in the right form that the plant can actually use. The other thing you can do is try and feed the crop for this year. Now, where we're seeing good results is putting an iron chelate in the furrow. Now, there are a lot of different kinds of iron chelates out there. We've had good luck with the ortho chelates. We get iron right into the plant in the right form, and then we don't see that yellowing that happens out in the fields. Now, if we do that same iron foliar, we can change the look of the plant. The plant can go from yellow back to green, and that's good. It helps reduce stress. Many times we see the biggest yield gains, though, by putting it in the furrow and solving the problem up front.
Well, to be more blunt, if you foliar apply after you've seen some yellow beans, you can turn them back green, but you typically don't get a yield gain. What we're trying to say is that's not going to normally give you a good return on investment. Your better return is by applying that fertilizer in furrow. But to completely solve that problem, let's face it, the soil has enough iron in many of those cases. Just get your pH down. Drainage, Darren mentioned, but also elemental sulfur. We do a lot of that on our farm to lower soil pH.
Well, and the elemental sulfur thing too, it could be broadcast over the field or it could be banded right with the row. We've seen guys doing the banding right with the row and having pretty good luck, especially if you're on rented ground or you say, yeah, this is the last year I'm farming this ground, but I want to have a successful crop. I can put a little bit of sulfur, save some money, don't spend a whole bunch of money out there, and just influence the pH right around that seed zone.
So iron is an incredibly important micronutrient. You want a soil test, you want to do some plant tissue analysis, but in addition, take a look at your soil pH. Make sure it's right around 7 or below, and then you're in pretty good shape.
Well, regardless of pH, you need to get weeds under control. We'll show you how to stop this tough weed coming up later in the show.